it, fam. Let's get to it. So it's a verse of the Bible. It's actually found in two places. Matthew the fifth chapter, I think Matthew 5:37, and James the fifth chapter, if I'm not mistaken, 12. And it says that you should let your yes be yes and your no's be no. Now, for the longest, I'm going to be honest with you, I really only just paid attention to it being what you say you're going to do, you need to do it. If you say you're going to do this, then you need to move heaven and earth to make sure you're going to do it. If you don't really want to do it or you don't feel like it's something you're going to be able to get to, then don't commit to it. Just say no. But whatever you give, whether it's a yes or a no, you need to stand on it. But this morning when I was kind of doing my devotion and going through just life, man, just kind of going through life, man, listening to, myself and reflecting and meditating, I really felt like that was really more than just what you say. It's also how you live. Really what made me ponder this, if I can snitch on myself for a second, I'm an underwear pile in the floor in the bathroom person. Now, I try not to go more than a couple of, I hate snitching on myself. I try not to go more than a couple of days, but I am notorious for leaving a small pile of underwear in the floor before I get in the shower, just in my little corner under the sink. But it just it dawned on me that whenever this is how we live, we have habits and we have things that we do that day in and day out, we comfortable with living that way, right? Like I just said, I'm just laughing at myself about my pile of underwear on the floor. But for some of us, it's a messy house. It's dishes in the kitchen. It's whatever it is. We comfortable with living that way day in and day out. But then the moment somebody said, comes over to our house or somebody says they're going to swing by, then we want to hurry up and scramble to start cleaning up and start doing stuff. And we want to give the impression like we're not nasty people, or we're not dirty people, or we're not whatever. We want to give that impression. But my question is if that's how you live, then why not be willing to live that way all the time? Now, I know somebody will say, well, it's just polite to clean up after yourself. Well, is it more polite to clean up after yourself because people are coming over? Or is it just a good thing to clean up after yourself because that's a good habit to have? See, I'll say this, and it really has to do with like even making up your bed. So you don't make up your bed or whatever, but then as soon as you're going to have company, you want to make up your bed because you want your house to look all nice and neat. But why not make up your bed every day? Right? Why do we conform to these outer appearances and these outer codes when we want to please people or we want people to think the best of us, but we don't live that way day in and day out? So when the scripture says, let your yeses be yes and your no's be no, could it not also be, if you do it when people are around, do it in the dark? And if you don't do it in the dark, then don't do it when people's around. If you don't act this way when nobody's watching, don't start acting that way when people come around. If you do this when it's in the dark, then do it when people are around. Now, there's a certain thing about decorum and everything. So I'm just really giving people a hard time about, cleaning up your house. It is just good decorum to straighten up your house if you're having people come over. But I am also talking about your life. Why are we comfortable with living with filth in our lives day in and day out? But then as soon as we get around people, we want to clean ourselves up and give this impression that everything is good in our life and everything is okay. If that's the way you really live, then live that way always. If that's not how you want to live, then take the steps when nobody's around. Take the steps when nobody's watching to clean those areas of your life up. None of us are perfect, and we all got our own issues. We all got our struggles. We all got those things that we battle it with and we wrestle with. That for real, we just need some time. But if time is what you need, then take the time to fix it and to work on it. Don't just only clean it up in front of people. Jesus said it like this. He was talking to the Pharisees and he said, you all are like whitewashed tombs. You don't actually care about fixing the issue. You just want to clean yourself all up so that when you in front of people, you look like you got it all together. You look like you perfect. You look like everything is taken care of. But instead, you really just for show, not really actually wanting to be changed. If you really want to be a person of character, then what you do in the dark should be what you do in the light. What you don't do when you by yourself, don't do it when you get around people. And if by some streak of instance it's something that you want to do, then do it in the dark. Then work on practicing doing it in the dark so that it'll become a habit and a lifestyle when you get around people. Don't just be comfortable with faking it to make it look like you got yourself together. Don't be just faking it like you ain't got that pile of underwear piled up in the bathroom, but actually clean that stuff in and day out. I know I'm working on it. I'm trying my best to be better. But God is not concerned with how we look as much as our character, as much as who we actually are. He wants us to develop into the people that whether you're by yourself or whether you're in the midst of people, what you are is what you are. Not to be one way here and another way there, but to always be the same, no matter where you're at. Now, like I said, there's just some places that the atmosphere, is not conducive for a certain type of behavior or a certain type of, that's different. If that's just the atmosphere and the culture, like I would never go into a church and start farting. Now, I ain't going to say I had to squeeze one out before, oh my God, if the service got too long. But that's just not acceptable, right? To be in the middle of the service or be someplace quiet and you just belch out loud, that's not acceptable behavior. So I'm not talking about something like that. But what I am talking about more so is just your character. Those areas of your life where you are one way, one place, and another way someplace. Let your yeses be yes and your no's be no. My grandmother used to say it like this. And as a matter of fact, it wasn't my grandmother. Let me correct that. It was my old Sunday school teacher. He said, what you do speaks so loud that what you say, I can't hear it. You should be a person whose life and your character is so consistent that you don't have to say anything about what you are. People can watch how you live your life. People can see that when nobody's watching, you're the same person as you are when everybody's watching. The things you say when you in a private conversation is no different than the things that you will say in a public conversation. Your character should not change based on your environment. All right, that's my 2 cents on the 2-piece. Y'all be blessed.
Now you're locked in.